Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Look, Wrestling 101, classes in session. Pay attention to the teachings, that's from Andrew and Derek. I mean, these guys making a killing with no competition. Dynamic duo better than the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Everybody make some noise, mess with them, you get destroyed. They cannot be beat, take a seat. Watch them do they thing on the MIC. Face defeat, they cannot be seen like JC. Oh my goodness, it's a killing spree.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Wrestling IQ 101. I'm Andrew alongside Derek.
You.
And you can follow Wrestling IQ 101 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. And today, we're sitting with the American Murder Society, Relentless Aaron Bradley, and Steve Off. Guys, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Yourself? The Mets are winning.
Yeah, right? It's a rare day, right?
Yeah, don't worry. By the time this airs, the Mets will be losing again.
Yeah, it's not the seventh inning yet.
Don't wish that on you guys. There's enough bad blue and orange teams in New York.
Oh,
Damn. The Knicks.
Wait, the Knicks are still in the NBA?
Yeah, they're still in the NBA.
They demoted them to D-League.
It's going to be an interesting year, right? Because the Nets, they did some crazy pickups, right?
Oh, basketball's fake anyway.
It's fake.
So is baseball.
It's all predetermined.
They're calling plays into the helmets. It's all scripted.
It's all
Yeah,
scripted.
I saw
Gotta be.
I saw the catchers calling spots the other day.
Yeah.
Football too, but the contact is real.
Now it's all leg slaps.
Oh, damn it.
They're all leg.
And
They're better at hiding it than we are.
I'm
Yeah.
going to put you on the spot right now. Who's
Oh,
your
boy.
favorite Met of all time?
Favorite Met of all time, Mike Piazza.
Yeah, that's right.
Mike
31
Piazza.
for sure.
Because I was born in 94, so when I first started watching baseball, it was like the 99 season into the 2000 season, obviously the 2000 World Series and everything. And I remember like just watching Mike Piazza as a young player or a young kid and then wanting to be like Mike Piazza. So I started playing baseball when I was like 9 years old and became a catcher to be like Mike Piazza.
Sure. You know, I was actually at his first game as a Met.
Oh, yeah?
I was there the night they retired his number and the night that he went to the Mets Hall of Fame. So yeah, Piazza for sure is my all-time favorite. So
Is Piazza the greatest Met of all time?
He's the greatest player of all time.
The greatest player of all time. Wow, okay.
I'd say
Yeah.
the greatest. I'd say the greatest catcher in New York. I don't think he was the greatest Met of all time.
The greatest of all time, the GOAT. The GOATest of all time.
Goatist.
I knew what he would say. I just wanted to
Bobby
call some
Orlando played for the
disruption.
Mets.
Oh
You know,
man.
his stats still hold up today as the greatest catcher and the greatest player of all time. It's just
I just want to apologize if you hear any random yelling or screaming. We have the Mets game on in the background right now, and right now we're winning, so it's okay. But
No, get the gimmick over. We're murdering people right now.
yeah,
Nice.
right?
There we go.
Yeah, that's it.
Our
Murder.
lawyers said not to say that on air, Steve.
You're right. The Mets. Yeah, baseball.
So, you guys are the American Murder Society. What kind of stuff what got you guys? What's your favorite murder? I'll put it that way. Do you have one?
Our favorite murderer?
Yeah, is there a
Oh,
favorite murder
man.
or a favorite murder series or some movie?
I always loved the Scream movies as a kid.
Okay.
Nightmare on Elm Street too.
Cool.
Oh, we're talking horror movies.
Horror movies or
He's thinking
or-
real life.
yeah, shows. I mean, it could be
Remember
based
what the
on real
lawyers
life,
said.
right? Some of them are based on true life. Like they have the ID channel and stuff like
Yeah,
that. You know?
like Ed Gein was a interesting one because they based the Texas Chainsaw Murders off of him and
Yeah.
stuff like that. There's a bunch of American Psycho was actually based off of Ed Gein as well.
Yeah, that's a
Like
good
he was the source of all that. Those are all classics, you know.
So for you two, what does it mean, or what should other people think of when they hear American Murder Society?
Please don't call the cops.
Yeah. Our lawyers have advised us against speaking about murder, and as he said, it's just a different type of violence, a smarter violence, almost like a sociopathic beating, murder with our bare hands, if you will, to the fullest extent of the law.
Nice.
We're into psychological warfare too.
Got you.
You know, playing mind games and silly promos and stuff like that. You know, like the ones we filmed for the TLC match back in December.
That was one of my favorites.
That was one of my favorite promos I've ever done because it was very psychological. There was a lot of thought and a lot of meaning and a lot of emotion into it, and a lot of what we do is emotion filled. You know, we're not going to go out there and do a triple Indy off the top because we don't.
Yeah.
I mean, you do one flip.
I do one flip. That's all you're getting out of me.
No flips, right?
He's a flip guy. I'm the body guy. He does one flip. I have like one ab. Neither of us are good at our job, but we have our jobs.
Yeah.
Nice. I see the shirt, American Murder Society shirt,
American-
American Horror Story.
Yeah,
it's just in that.
That's kind of where the idea for the name came about. I was drinking one night watching that. I don't drink often, so it didn't take a lot.
Yeah.
I had, I think, maybe one shot of vodka, and I was like, oh, American Horse. I don't know. Oh, American Murder Society. That'd be cool.
By
And then I
one
hit
shot
him
of
up.
vodka, he means 2 fruity drinks.
Yeah,
So
2
we're-
fruity girly drinks. But, you know, we'll call it vodka.
You guys, are you guys into the whole American Horror Story series? Have you guys? Watched
I'll
them?
be honest. I've only watched a couple episodes. I'm a poser. I'm sorry. Sorry. A funny story. So I went to a party one time. This is actually like before I even started wrestling, and actually no, it was like 1 or 2 years into me wrestling, and the whole Negan thing with the Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I've never watched a single episode of The Walking Dead, but I love the Negan thing.
Oh yeah.
I watched that scene like a million times just because I found it hilarious.
With glass.
So I got invited to this Halloween party, and I said to my brother, I ain't got shit to wear. So I was like, wait, I got a red scarf, I got a wiffle ball bat, and I got some fake barbed wire that I bought at a gag store. I'm gonna be Negan, and it'll get over well. Yeah, that went well for the first 45 minutes. Then this chick comes up to me, and she's like, oh, you know, you're Negan. I was like, yeah. And she's like, what's your favorite episode? I was in Schitt's Creek without a paddle right there because I had to admit to her, I was like, never actually seen a full episode. And she just stops what she's doing, gets sober in the matter of 10 seconds, and goes, my father and I sit there every Sunday and watch every single episode. And you have the balls to sit here dressed as Negan and you've never seen a single episode? I am disgusted. I was like, I didn't have the balls to tell her that that shit's fake.
Yo, they got rid of Rick on that show.
Yeah,
That's
and now
pretty
they're
real.
turning Negan babyface, it looks like, which is
You watch it?
bizarre. I do. I watch
Yeah.
Walking Dead, I watch American Horror Story.
Actually, it's
I
funny.
thought it was better the first season, but like it's, you know,
Yeah, on my
American Horror.
keychain, I
but
have Lucille.
Still pretty good.
On my keychain,
Oh, yeah?
I have a bat. Yeah, I got it at FYE for like $8. It's I love. Reminded me of Barbie too, Mick Foley. But yeah, I love Walking Dead for sure. And now I heard Michonne's leaving too.
Yeah, I heard that. I don't know what they're doing with that. I know they're starting like a new spin-off series, I heard,
Yeah.
for TV, and there's obviously the movie series they confirmed. So there's going to be like 4 different things going on for Walking Dead.
And then
And the least interesting is probably going to be the main show at some
Yeah, right.
point. Everyone's leaving.
yeah, it's weird because the crossover too. They're like saying that they're not that far behind on
Right,
Fear the
right.
Walking Dead either. Oh man, like
Maybe they'll eventually combine them and make the show really interesting again. Like, I still watch it, but like it's not what it was, you know?
Yeah, I hope they never get rid of Maggie because I love her.
Yeah, I think,
She's
I don't know.
She's
I think
amazing.
she'll be back. I'm a fan, but I don't know.
You should
Yeah.
tell him. Don't get rid of
Yeah,
Maggie. Just write him a letter.
Yeah.
Should be like,
Just-
dear
I mean, you
Walking
should
Dead.
write them a
No
lot.
one writes letters
Should write
anymore,
them a
so they
lot.
might actually read it.
Yeah,
Is that why you
just-
never respond to my letters?
Yeah, that's why.
Just tweet them.
That and I can just text you, so that's quicker.
She was off this whole
Yeah,
season.
Yeah.
And it felt so lonely without her because she's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
you know?
Jesus Christ.
That is true.
American Horror Story. What's your favorite season?
I think the first one.
The
I
first
think
one,
Murder
like the
House.
Murder House, yeah.
I mean, they've all been good to differing degrees, but Murder House probably my favorite.
I like
You
it.
can't outdo the original, man.
Yeah, no, that's a dope one. My favorite one is Coven.
Coven was cool.
Yeah, I like that.
This past one was pretty
brutal.
cool. It was a little all over the place, but I like the crossovers, the
Yeah,
tie-ins,
yeah.
and all that.
Yeah, no.
Actually,
I'm
For
looking
the-
forward to 84,
For the
1984.
Yeah.
for the October show last year, we were actually gonna like try to cosplay, like the school shooter from.
Yeah.
Wow, it's so grim. From the first season, but we couldn't get anybody.
From
that
American
could-
Horror Story, not like a real
Yeah,
life one.
yeah. Wow. Especially in the past week we've had.
Although that
Yeah.
that might be
Yeah.
something you see at Pro Wrestling Magic in the future. Not a shooting, but
Oh Jesus!
but us dressing as you know, like a Mania style
murderers.
entrance. That's
Yeah.
there's always stuff in the loop for that. That's why you should always come to Pro Wrestling Magic.
It's crazy because your attire has changed pretty drastically. You were wearing all these colors and
Mhm.
stuff like that, and now you're just donning black. I mean, even
Yep,
you,
yep.
Bradley, you were wearing some blue singlets, you know, now black.
You might see us in blue or purple or red again, but You just got to evolve. You got to keep moving forward and keep changing, even if it's slightly, even if it's like a different color or, you know, a slight variation of the hair. Like I used to have a full head of hair. Now I shave the back and the sides, which is not my decision. That's
He's going
genetics.
bald.
Yeah, I'm hiding that I'm going bald the best I can.
Yeah,
But you always gotta make, you know, you look at Chris Jericho. He's been a good example of that.
Yeah.
Like he's always changed slightly. It's always the same guy, always the same meat and potatoes of the act, but always adds one or two moves. Always changes his facial hair,
And
cuts his hair, whatever.
For me, it's been like just becoming and showing my real self, not to show a character that I was trying to portray. I don't know if you follow way back when I was like Game Changer.
Yeah, I was
brother.
gonna ask you about that.
Yeah, what's a game changer?
To this day, I can't even tell you what a Game Changer is, other than a cool name I came up with on my Xbox. Like, and so I was like trying to like, everyone's like, oh, you need a gimmick, you need a gimmick, you need a gimmick, you need this, you need.
Yeah.
It's 2019. You just need to be yourself. People can see through phony gimmicks, you know. Obviously, there's always room for it, but like if you're not, if that's not an extension of yourself, which Game Changer wasn't. I'm not an all-star athlete. I'm not an all-American by any sense of the word.
You got that one flip though.
Yeah, I do one flip, but I started thinking about like things I've overcome in life, and actually, a friend of mine, Mark House, actually called me out on a bunch of stuff, and it was like not to put me down, but like he was like, hey, you know, we took a ride up to Canada, and it was like a 4-hour, 5-hour trip. And it's like, hey, you mind if I ask you questions on, you know, about yourself that people probably haven't asked you? I was like, yeah, go for it. Because I'd rather have someone tell me, you know, what I did wrong instead of telling me, oh, you did great out there. Okay, well, tell me what I can improve on, whether it be footwork, whether it be transition work, whether it be, you know, being more vocal, being, you know, facial expression, stuff like that. So I was like, yeah, tell me what I can improve on. So he goes, and the first question he led off the bat with, he was like, would you pay $10 to see yourself? And that hit hard. Because I was like, oh, shit. You know, like, I feel like a lot of indie wrestlers have to ask themselves a lot. That too. Because, like, you know, indie wrestling is such a huge variety of things. And everyone's trying to be Johnny Badass. You know, like, everyone's trying to be the same cookie-cutter thing. And, like, even to this day, I'm still trying to find ways to be different and not fall into the same mold. And I know Steve and I always have this conversation of what can we do to stand out? Because we don't want to, like...
You don't want to blend in.
Yeah. It's a world that you're destined to stand out instead of born to fit in, you know? Like, you have to do something that makes you different from everyone else. And I was like... I had to think about it. I was like, wow, I'm just following the same cookie-cutter process that everyone else is... You know, there's nothing different from me. You know, like at the time I was not in good shape. Like I looked like a can of biscuits had just popped open and was wearing blue biker trunks. Like that was what you were getting when you looked at Aaron Bradley. It was
that's
not
dead on,
it
too.
was not good. Yeah. So like that one question really changed me for, you know, who I am now. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I could definitely see that. For both of you guys, like what's your passion when it comes to like wrestling? What
do you mean?
Like, why do you want to do this? Like, what makes you get up every single day, train, and, you know, do these shows every weekend? Like what is it for you?
I'm just driven, man. It's just something I've always wanted to do since I was a kid, and like now I have a kid. He's 2.5 at this point, so it's like, okay, I'm spending all this time away from you to do this one thing that I'm kind of decent at, I guess. You know, not to pat myself on the back. I always like to improve and all that. But, you know, something I might be able to make something out of. So now I owe that to him and to my wife and my family and myself and, you know, my partner and anyone else who's shared the ring with me to make myself the best I can in every way. Not just in the ring. It's hitting the gym 3-4 days a week minimum. You know, just knowing that failure is not an option, I guess, anymore. It used to be, I guess, kind of. But now it's not, because now I have people depending on me. So now it's, you got to put food on the table. Now you got to deliver now, and you got to live your dream too.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot different when it was like kids too, because like, you know, the older your kids get, it's like, you know, like you're that role model for them. It's like for me, my son, he thinks it's the coolest thing now I get to talk to wrestlers because he loves wrestling.
Yeah.
So he doesn't care, you know, who it is, if it's Braun Strowman or if it's whoever at the Raw Ray Rec Center, you know, he just was like, this is so cool. He's talking to wrestlers, you know what I mean? So
like my kid comes to the shows and he never has paid attention until one we had last weekend. He just plays on his iPad or he goes home. My mom, who comes to the shows too, and and he was super into our match. He was like, "Ah, dad, woohoo!" He's screaming and yelling when we kept our. And that was just so cool. That keeps the fire burning too.
Yeah,
so
to keep our heat, we punched him in the face.
yeah.
We had to stay healed, brother.
It's so surreal because kids, they gravitate like that. I remember I was a young guy, and I was watching Mac in the rec center, and then I got to interview him. Monster Mac and Magic. I'm like, these are the people I grew up watching, right? And at these shows, and I'm interviewing them, and then I'm like, we interviewed Al Snow and Sonny Ono. I'm like, these are the people who were literally in the midst of the Attitude Era when I was growing up, and I was right on the cusp of the Attitude Era, right before that with the new generation. So when I was growing up, and I was like, I grew up watching Leaf Cassidy, Marie Jannetty.
Oh wow, the new rockers, brother.
It's pretty surreal, and that's kind of cool. You guys have your passion, we have our passion, and then that keeps us going, for sure.
What about you, man?
Yeah. For me, so I remember starting to watch wrestling, and I as a kid you're 4 or 5, so you watch it, but you're not really paying attention. And my dad started to see that I took a liking to it, so he sat me down. He's like, do you want to watch some matches that I taped from when I was a kid? So I said yeah. So the first match I actually sat there and watched was Kurt Hennig versus Nick Bockwinkel. For the AWA World Championship at the Cow Palace Super Clash 3, 1998. Or 1988, I'm sorry. And I remember just watching. It was the night they double turned. Bockwinkel turned face and Hennig turned heel. I remember being so invested in Hennig winning. And when he finally won, I was like, yeah, he did it. And then they realized that he cheated and they take the belt. I was like, what the and so I was like, wow. And since then I was hook, line, and sinker. And then around 2003, my family fell on some hard times, and we were actually homeless for 6 months, and we were living with no, honestly, it's not a bad thing. It's the greatest thing that ever happened to me because I'm so much more appreciative of what I have now, So we were living with my uncle in a trailer, and he had the Bunny Ears TV, so we only got 5 or 6 channels. One of them was UPN. Thursday nights was my 8 o'clock was my 2-hour escape from reality because I got to watch Chris Benoit.
Oh, you can say it.
Oh, that was before
Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, the SmackDown. What was SmackDown 6 or something like that? 5 or 7.
Guerrero,
Benoit, Chavo,
Edge,
Angle, all them, Cena, Undertaker.
All-Star show.
They really got me out of that dark time, and I was like, if I could be someone's escape like I was they were for me, that's all I need. Obviously, I want to be able to travel the world, and in the past year, we've actually gotten a chance to go out to London. We got invited to go back out next month or next year. We're putting together, dates and everything and stuff like that. We're planning on going out there. We made some connections with a guy who runs in Romania and also Scotland, so hopefully we can run a week out there
kind
as
of
well.
triple dip a little bit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned SmackDown and that golden era right there. Did you see the new WWE 2K game? They have a SmackDown edition.
Do they?
Yeah, and if you pre-order the exclusive one, the big bundle, you get an autographed picture of, I think it was Angle, Mysterio, and Edge. So
that's
those,
dope. Nice.
Yeah, I was pretty cool. And then they were saying today they were gonna bring back the fist for SmackDown.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, they were gonna bring
so.
that back when they change over to Fox, and that'd be awesome if they bring back that giant fist in the screen.
That was the coolest set of any wrestling company probably ever.
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
We need a pro wrestling magic fist.
Yeah. I'll see what we can do about that.
Let me know, brother.
There, right?
I know some people, but I don't think they got that kind of money yet. I could be wrong. Maybe a giant paper mache fist that somebody's kid makes in art class or something.
Yeah, it works, right?
Fist
Better than nothing.
Pinata,
Stuff
some candy inside there or something like that. That'd be dope.
Yeah, that'd be really cool because people would be interactive. They could hit the pinata, right? You can make one every month, right? You got a new gimmick or something like that.
So, for you guys, I know you were talking about kind of going broader than America. So, what are some places, you know, that you guys want to go, like, outside of
Japan.
US that you
Japan is definitely number one.
So you want to be the Japan Murder Society, too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
AMS International.
Mexican
Yeah.
Murder Society.
Oh, I think if we start labeling ourselves that, it might turn into something much
might
different.
be, yeah.
All of a sudden, we're getting
England was one,
blackballed
too,
and we
did
don't
that,
know
so-
why.
Seriously, right? Seriously.
We'll go with AMS International. It's a very much more politically correct name.
You know, you guys didn't think of, like, unicorns. And how did you guys land on, like, yeah, you didn't think of, like, anything, like, fluffy or anything like that? Like puppies or...
I mean, I love puppies, but,
Yeah.
you know, I just came away from wrestling.
Okay.
That could be like an interesting, like an almost like a parody of AMS T-shirt with like puppies and unicorns on it. And
Yeah, right.
We'll probably
rainbows.
never do that, but that's kind
Yeah.
of funny actually to think about.
Imagine if the puppies had like dark eyes and they looked demonic. That would.
And they were ripping the unicorns' throats out.
Yeah.
No, you don't want to do that.
That'd be kinda cool.
Like
Oh.
jelly beans bleeding out.
It's like some Bray Wyatt type stuff there. It's like
Yeah.
he's nice and then he's angry.
It's funny because like you guys kind of parallel that too because this guy he plays such an innocent character and then he's really evil on the inside. But you guys are just evil on the outside, right?
Yeah, we don't hide it. We don't hide it. If we're good at something,
we're-
just, you know.
We're very transparent with our evil
It's
thoughts.
still a psycho like mentality though.
Mhm.
You know, it's kind of cool that somebody's kind of doing that right now.
Yeah.
I think it's more the sociopath thing because we know what we're doing. We're in control of our actions, and we're just as violent. We're smart. We're a step ahead. I mean, we pretend to be smart really good, actually, but, you know, not actually smart. But same thing.
Yeah. So definitely for you two, like, where was the point where you two like decided, you know, you guys wanted to be a team and you wanted to?
This is like
be
the
with each other?
funniest
This is
story
the strangest
too.
story. So,
We would like comment on Facebook that we hate each other,
Yeah.
and like
Just
we're
for
just
fun.
joking around, and like people started liking it, and like actually people started thinking there was actual heat between the two of us.
there never was.
There was never
So-
any heat, but like I would post statuses like shitting on Steve, and he would post statuses shitting on me, and like people would like see us in the same locker room and be like kind of like waiting for something to happen. And then they would see we were friends, they'd be like, "Oh fuck," and yeah. So and then like we started. It started with Kill the Magic.
Yeah, we were in a faction called Kill the Magic, where it was us, Mike Donovan, and manager Gianni Malenga, and like a rotating cast. Ricky Martinez at one point, Matty Ice at one point. And it was supposed to be me as
John
the
Tella
single.
as well. John Tella as well.
And John Tella, yeah, you're right. Toward the end of it. Supposed to be me as the single and Aaron and Mike as the tag team, but I'm like, I don't really want to do... You know, because I help with the management end of Magic too. I'm like, I don't really want to give myself a single spot. And I was kind of torn. I was just going to be like a mid-card floating kind of guy, and they were going to tag. But like, Shane Fair actually, I think it was, posted a gif of me and him like taunting the crowd together. And I'm like, yo, we look kind of cool as a team. And we already had that chemistry from, like he was saying, the Facebook back and forth. And we'd had some singles matches against each other on like lesser attended shows that were pretty good.
And
So I was
Meltzer
like,
would have
eh.
gave them a solid 1.5 star.
Oh,
Like,
Yeah.
they were pretty.
Yeah, that
good.
half star makes the difference. So it switched around. Mike Donovan got made the single, which unfortunately he was injured in the middle of his title run, but he was doing pretty good on his own, and we were doing really good as a tag. So it all kind of worked out.
And I struck a good deal too because I agreed to tag with Steve as long as he paid for my chiropractor bill, for carrying him through the matches. So
I'm lucky he's got good insurance.
This is what, like I could
That's
see
hilarious.
that when I was like messaging you guys. You guys were just like ragging on each other and this.
That's
and
our
that.
thing.
And I'm like, I love, and I was like, a little taken back too. I'm like, oh, what do I say? Like, this is awkward.
Like mom just punched dad in the head at the dinner table. What do I do? She's so
Yeah.
violent. No. We both have that self-deprecating sense of humor, so it kind of works.
Yeah, like you guys are like laughing at the end of it. I'm like, okay, I guess it's okay to laugh now. I don't know. And that's kind of funny that that started a friendship and a tag team. It's crazy because everywhere you guys go, you seem to collect titles. Whether it's DTW.
it's sort of our thing. It's a hobby of
It's
ours.
becoming
Sure.
kind of a thing.
D2W, UPWA will be next.
Yeah,
we
LDN would have been next, but they didn't have belts, so we were like, nah, that's all right. We'll just defend ours and beat
Yeah,
people up.
we'll just beat up Insanely Rude for a few days, and
They
that
were,
was
to
that
their
was rather
credit,
fun.
To their credit, yes, they were fun to beat up.
Sure.
You guys are talented, too, just not as good as us.
Ran into TJ Crawford out there as well.
Oof. How'd that go?
That piece of shit.
Yeah, well, that's funny that you mentioned TJ Crawford. You've been feuding with him in various places, most notably Synergy. What is it about him?
You know what is? He's a hopeless soul, and he doesn't even notice it. And I'm sorry to take this down a notch, but like, I see a lot of myself in TJ, and I need to save him from the nothingness I know he'll become if he goes down the path he's going down. I see a lot of the overtime gimmick and the game changer gimmick I had just described.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he's trying to put on a persona that isn't him.
Okay.
You know, for a little while he was a beach bum. I was like, okay. I imagine that was more Freddie than TJ. Then he was a basketball player. And I don't think I've ever seen that dude dribble once. So, like, the dude's talented. But he's got to look for something in himself and not something he's not.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to show him this, but he doesn't listen. He doesn't listen. And that's why we've been fighting so much. You know, that's why I had to do what I did in England. That's why, you know, I want to save him from himself. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the match we have at Synergy, which Synergy is refusing to put on their main card because, I don't know, they don't like money. So they're unsanctioning it. You know, they're not even giving us, you know, the only thing they're giving us is a ring to do what we have to do.
Sure.
What I have to do.
Yeah, there's no entrances, nothing.
There are no entrances. Colin's completely washed his hands of it. He's mailed us waivers to sign, you know, stating that any injuries will not be held liable to, or Synergy won't be held liable. Mm-hmm. It's completely off the record. It's not going to count as a win or a loss. It's just a strict fight. No referees, no time limits, nothing. It's going to be violent. It's going to leave us both hurt, if not injured.
Sure.
And I'll do what I have to. I'm going to save him from the nothingness he's going to become.
Sure. You know, let me ask you this. I mean, you know, you saw a lot of himself in you, like you said, but I mean, he gave KTB a hell of a match, right? I mean, are you a little bit concerned because he can bring the fight? I mean, you know, he didn't win that match, but that was a hell of a match.
I would have done the same thing. I probably would have beaten KTB. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
That was him in the ring, not me.
Sure.
You know, I'm a completely different animal.
Yeah.
KTB's a beast, but I'm a murderer. I would have slain the beast.
Sure. So, you know,
that's intense.
Yeah, that's pretty intense. You know, I'm backing up a little bit for sure.
You see, the thing with this is that TJ, I think, you know, awesome wrestler, yeah, but this is like a fight, man. This is not like a wrestling
TJ's never
match.
been in a fight.
I don't know, man.
Oh, man.
I don't think I could go with TJ on that one.
The best thing we could say is you have to be there at Synergy.
Definitely.
Was it?
And
September 20th or something?
I can't think of any better birthday present than to save TJ Crawford. That's what I want for my birthday, which September 20th, Synergy turns 2. I turn 25.
All right.
Getting old, man.
I know.
It all goes downhill at 26, so enjoy your last year of...
At least I made it through 23. No one likes you when you're 23.
Yeah, that's true.
I agree with that. It does go down at 26.
I don't know about you guys. I'm still 22. Taylor Swift, anybody?
I hate
No.
you. I hate you.
Oh,
I will only be fielding questions from Derek from now on.
I appreciate that.
You guys are not Taylor Swift fans?
If my wife listens to this, she'll appreciate that. She loves Taylor Swift. I'm not a fan.
Or like Nikos Ricos or somebody?
No, I mean, listen, there are worse artists out there making more money or as much money than her, but yeah, not a fan.
Not a fan of Taylor
No,
Swift?
no.
Are you like death metal?
Hard rock and death metal and, you know, even a little bit of like old school rock, country, and some hip hop too, but mostly hard rock, death metal.
So no Spice Girls, no Justin Bieber.
I mean, there's like one or two songs. No Justin Bieber. No Justin Bieber. We don't mess with that.
All right, same for you, Aaron.
About the same. Stuff like I Prevail, Hollywood Undead, you know, stuff like that.
Motionless in White.
Motionless in White.
They did our theme music, you know, just for us.
Just for us.
Before we were tag team.
No need to ask them. They
don't.
I was about to say, wait, what?
No need to ask them. We'll answer the question for them.
We don't need to cease and desist or anything,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, man. That's awesome. So, you two guys, you like animals.
Yeah.
Yes.
You like
It's not people.
You like penguins.
Yeah. Penguins,
You like
puppies,
skunks.
cats.
I own a skunk.
You own a
Sloths,
skunk.
Remy
everything.
the adorable skunk.
Yeah.
How do you get a pet skunk?
You
There's a store. No.
very
Yeah.
carefully. Just kidding. We found Lodi's New Jersey exotic pet store, and they have all kinds of crazy animals there. Excuse me. Pigs, kinkajous, cootie moondies, which I didn't even know was a thing. They're
those
actually
are-
incredibly
yeah, they're
cute. Even cooler animals like snakes and stuff like that. They got giant like pythons and boas and stuff like that.
These are things that kill people. They're so-
I mean, they could, yeah. I don't know about a sloth, but I always wanted one.
A sloth?
I don't think you can keep one as a pet, though.
Yeah, no.
But no, his skunk's cool as hell.
My brother looks like a sloth, so it's probably as much
I'm gonna adopt
as
your
close
brother.
as we're gonna get. Yeah,
Leave him
yeah.
in a cage in my basement. I
Have
might
him.
feed him. I don't know.
So like, do you need like a license or something for this? To, like, go
Yeah,
get
it's
these
like
things?
you have to get like a registration, like almost like for dogs, you
Same
have to
thing.
register them,
I got
everything.
you. I got you.
It's like $20 or something like that.
Yeah, something.
You fill out some paperwork saying, yeah, I have a skunk. No, it doesn't spray, and
Although sometimes in our matches, it might accidentally spray somebody.
yeah,
On command.
I mean, oh damn
He
it,
does it on command.
I'm killing the gimmick, brother.
Are you a fan of like Ice Age and stuff like that? You know, we had like the Sid the Sloth character and stuff
Honestly,
like
yeah,
that.
I've only seen Ice Age like once. It was okay.
Yeah,
It was alright.
that's kind of cool, like a sloth and like penguins and stuff like that. Did you like Batman too, like the character the penguin?
Batman 2 was awesome. It's
Mhm.
probably the best Batman movie of all time.
Yeah.
Batman and Batman Returns. One of those. Probably Batman Returns a little bit better.
Mhm.
I'm a Dark Knight guy too. I like that series too, but Batman Returns is, I don't think, except maybe the original, is no topping that.
Yeah.
And the Penguin character is cool as hell.
Yeah, right.
It's so dark. It's very Tim Burton-y.
Did you watch Gotham?
Yes.
Did you like that version of the penguin? You look exactly
Yeah.
like a penguin.
Yeah. Overall,
So-
I liked the show. I didn't love it.
Mhm.
Last season was really good though.
I'm not huge into superheroes, but I know what that
Deadpool?
Tommy Grayson.
Oh. Yeah.
He's super into Batman and stuff like that, and his favorite Joker is the Heath Ledger Joker.
He
Oh,
loves
that's the
it.
best
He,
one.
he is in love with the Heath Ledger Joker. Just ask him. He'll be more than happy to tell you how much he loves it.
That whole series, especially Dark Knight, he'll put over all day.
Yeah, he loves the Dark Knight series.
It's a phenomenal movie.
I'm Batman.
That voice was ridiculous, but you know,
It's like two different like things really. Like
very
I'm,
different.
Like I'm a huge fan of Batman as well, and it's like, you know, the Batman Returns and all that. That was more like more comedy than
Yeah.
as serious as this Dark Knight is. But I like both of them. I love them, and I
They're
like
very
the,
different,
The
but-
Batman Returns, I think those are like amazing.
Yeah.
And other people like hardcore Batman fans are like, those things suck. And this. And
I'm not
like,
wearing
what?
hockey pads.
That's
Oh,
what you
man.
know the quotes of the movie.
And he
Dude, I actually like when I was starting to like look for more realistic ends to like myself and stuff. I
Yeah.
actually studied like the Dark Knight Joker, Heath
Yeah,
Ledger's
right.
Joker, because like I watched the movie legit one day 3 times in a row just to study his mannerisms and how he
Yeah.
talks and everything. Just because I was really entranced. Like I'm not super into superhero movies,
Mhm.
but like if something catches my eye,
Mhm.
like I'll watch it. Like Justice League, I liked the movie just because I liked the movie, and like I found out that like a lot of comic book fans like
They
didn't
hate
like it,
Yeah.
but I was like, fuck it, it's a good movie. Like
I think you're probably the only person that's ever told me it was good. So now maybe I'll check it out. But
Just,
It's worth a watch.
yeah,
It's
I mean, you
definitely
gotta
that.
watch
It's
it.
definitely
I mean,
that.
it's not the
I
best
liked
movie.
Wonder Woman. That was good.
Wonder
but
Woman was awesome.
I heard Aquaman was
My-
good. Haven't seen
my
it.
girlfriend likes Justice League for ulterior motives, something about Aquaman being a nice guy, or the fact that he looks nice or something like that. I don't know.
Hey, it could be worse. At least he's not into Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, right.
Affleck.
So for you two, when you guys both got started, I'm envisioning that it's two completely different paths from each other.
Yeah,
At least timing differently because I'm old.
Yeah, he
so-
started back when actually Ben Franklin invented wrestling. When he
man.
actually that week he had his first match.
That's
I'm not actually that old. That is true though. Time travel is a thing. I invented it in 20 years. No, I started.
He's
I
not that smart.
No, not at all. Not at all. But if I won the lottery, I had to pay someone to invent it for me.
Awesome.
And then just like any American inventor, you steal their ideas.
Yeah, and I'd somehow ruin it.
It's
and
the American way.
Yeah.
Bill Gates did it.
There is an American in an American murder society. That's very key. So I started like 16 years ago.
Okay.
I was 16. I wouldn't say, oh, I'm 16 years in, brother, because like the first like 5 or 6 I was in school, so I did it when
You
I
went
could.
to school?
Yeah, it didn't help at all. But yeah, now I'm 32, and now I'm like kind of starting to find my way in the ring. And now the AMS thing is kind of, you know.
It only took him 16 years.
It took me a while. I'm a little slow in the head, but I figured it out eventually.
It happens, you know. Like you gotta find yourself. I mean, look how many people now are getting signed at an older age.
Yeah.
WWE or Impact Wrestling.
Dude, it's totally changed because like when I was 24, 25, it was like, yo, you got to make it somewhere soon or you're not going to. They won't take you after 25, 26. Now it's like if you're under like 29 or 30, you don't see guys getting signed that often.
Yeah, I think they're really starting to notice, like, get that party phase out of you.
Yeah.
Be the, you know, like somebody like Samoa Joe, AJ Styles. Those guys have been wrestling for so many years.
And I would argue they're probably better now than when they were back then, and they were awesome always, but...
Samoa Joe's just better.
Yeah.
I've been in for about 5.5 years now. I started in 2013. I started training 2014. I had my first pro match against Kenneth Bengal. He loves when you call him Kenneth. By the way, if you see him, call him Kenneth. He loves that.
Yeah.
And he also
Absolutely.
says suck it all day, right?
Yeah, suck it all day.
What does it mean? We don't really know.
Tell him, suck it all day, Kenneth. That's what you say. Like, don't even say hi to him. Just say, suck it all day.
All right, well, noted. It's fun because, you know, pretty early on, you won the tag team titles with Prince Akhenaten, right?
Yeah.
And you guys went to, like...
you are the first one to say his name right on the first try. How long did you practice that before this podcast?
Well,
We have
not sure. So we had him on.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we had him on pretty early, and he you're right. You guys went to like some gentleman clubs and stuff like that, right?
He did. I was very early stages of my relationship. I was not there. That was.
If you were there.
Those were some fun times, man. It started out almost like okay. So actually, I have to tell the real story of how the Prince and Property gimmick started. Mm-hmm. So it was supposed to be a one-off thing. I was supposed to wrestle. I had been hitting up this guy Don Brower to work for a few months, and like he finally had a spot. And it was for a tag match, and he's like, "I don't want you to do an Aaron Bradley gimmick." I was like, "What do you mean? Like this is like what I've been sending you and stuff." He's like, "I got an idea. I need somebody to tag with Princey." I was like, "Okay." He goes, "We're gonna call you Jihadist Johnny." And I said, "What?" We're gonna call me who? And like, I didn't want to like argue with him because I was at this point in my career where I didn't want to lose bookings. Like now, if somebody told me you're gonna be Jihadist Johnny, I would have told him go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But so I was like, all right, well, I'm sure I can make it work. And then like the night before the show, there was a shooting in Paris.
Wow,
And I
Bad
texted.
timing.
I had just gotten home from work, and I told him that night at like 3 a.m. I'm not comfortable with doing it. And he goes, "All right, well, I agree. It's probably best we don't. We're running a show at a fucking school." And then I thought to myself, well, maybe we shouldn't have done that gimmick in the first place. So literally like 6 hours before the show, we're like, oh, what are we going to do? I'm like, well, I could just be Aaron Bradley. He goes, okay, well, you know, I kind of like, maybe we can get some life out of this. And Prince actually suggested the idea to do like a Ted DiBiase Virgil gimmick. And I was like, you know what? This could work. So like, we did a whole angle of him like buying out my contract. My family fell in like to some hard times, almost like art imitating life in a way, where I was, you know, quote unquote falling into hard times at, you know, and like he was buying out my contract, and now I worked for Prince, and like he made me do like some like really demeaning tasks early on. I was his footstool, I was his bag boy, I was washed his car and stuff like that. And like he would like demean me and berate me in the ring and stuff like that. And then we had a tournament, actually the John J. Arati tournament, which is like named after his Don Brower's like uncle or something like that, who was actually an American veteran, which is pretty cool. And then he's like, you guys are going to go over the tournament. I'm like, all right, well, maybe we should start the almost like it was always like a heel babyface demeanor to the tag team, but there was never any like substance. Like I was always getting picked on and like stuff like that. I'm like, maybe we can get the gears turning towards us eventually, like a boiling point. Now we'll start.
Yeah.
So like the first match, I do all the work. I take a hell of a beating, and I make a comeback. He tags himself in. He does one or two things, or no, actually, he does one thing. He gets hit. He tags me back in. I duck two things, and I hit my finish. And then he demands that I'm about to make the pin. He demands I tag out. I tag out. He gets the pin. Looks like he wins it.
Yeah.
We advance to the next round. Pretty much the same story. I get beat up. I do the leg work at the end, and then he tags in. Blind tags in. Boom. 1, 2, 3. And then the ending was we had this spot where he would basically we would fall into like some double team moves. Like we didn't mean to do double team moves, but it was almost comical in like Three Stooges sense where we started working together. And then I would I'd hit somebody, and then he would take his single strap from his singlet, and he would choke me and start throwing me at people and stuff like that. And then he demanded me to hit him with a chair because the ref had gone down or something. He demanded me to cheat in some way, and I wouldn't do it. And then eventually I ended up winning, and I got the pin in spite of him. And then he starts yelling at me in the ring, telling me I'm not listening and I'm nothing and stuff like that. And he slaps me, and I super kick him, and the place went nuts because I finally had stood up for myself. After 3 matches and winning 3 times, and he's berating me and picking on me the entire time. That's what set up that tournament propelled us to win the belts down in Carolina. We held them for 364 days.
Wow.
Yeah, bro.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, we told Prince when he was here. I was like, why did you pick that name? I was like, you would pick the easier name, you might get more bookings. People can't pronounce your name. But I love Prince, man. He's a good dude. He's a really good dude.
His 2 rules of wrestling for rookies: don't do face paint and don't do accents. I'm like, that's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But it's worked for him. I mean, he's been managed by the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still wrestling to this day.
He's wrestled every legend that's come out from 95 to 2010.
Probably had 100 matches with Tom Brady.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's amazing how he still...
Probably won none of them.
All I want from
Did you see his donuts? He made donut cereal, like Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
cereal.
I saw he was doing something like that.
That was hilarious. He's hilarious.
Yeah,
Like,
he's fantastic to have around. All I want in my life to happen one time is Del Wilkes versus Tom Brady. Patriot versus Patriot, mask versus mask.
Who's the real Patriot?
Yeah, we had the Patriot on Del Wilkes.
Which one?
Yeah,
Del Wilkes. We had Del Wilkes. We could call him.
Nice.
We could send him a message.
Let's make it
Yeah,
happen.
tell him I want Brandy versus Wilkes.
Maybe
Is
they'll
there
come
heat
out-
there?
And
Is that
he'll
so.
reply with, "Who is this Mark?"
Oh, man.
He has a fantastic story. If you ever get a chance to listen to it, the time Del Wilkes. But yeah, it's crazy that you were able to team with Prince, and you came up with so many great people too, like Sonny Kiss, Kenny Bangle.
The whole New Gen crew is fantastic. Sonny Kiss, Kenny Bengal are my best friends. I started training with them. We all started within 2 months of each other.
Mike Orlando, Ali Rex.
Mike
right?
Orlando, Ali Rex were added on. We met them later, and then the Graysons as well.
Mhm.
And then Prince Akanine kind of revolved in and out of the New Gen. Don't ask how. We were just like, hey, we like this guy.
He was your original wrestling dad.
Yeah, and actually, I've had quite a few now. I call you Dad now, and it has maybe the most substance. But Eric Eminon of the IndyCar Mafia, we were joking around, and he was like, I could be your dad. I was like, you don't know my mom. He goes, yeah, dude, I invented time travel. I went back and I impregnated your mom. And I was like,
Guy stole my line.
wow. And he goes, yeah, maybe I'll take you for a ride in the DeLorean.
Oh my God.
So for a while, I called him my wrestle dad, and actually I went to his house one time for we were on our way back from Canada, And we had a spaghetti and meatball dinner with him. It was really cool. He's a really cool guy. Him and Tommy and Ashley, Tommy's wife. They're all great people.
So, how is it? I would feel like it's probably beneficial for both of you guys that, you know, you're older, you're a veteran,
Mm-hmm.
you're able to give advice to Aaron, and Aaron, you know, is new school.
He's able to modernize the matches a little bit.
Yeah. So kind of just like explain that dynamic, and you know.
So I was doing singles for a bit before, and it was okay. Nothing great, nothing awful. Just kind of there.
Yeah.
Because I was pretty standard, cutting my ways. I was trained old school, so I just kind of stuck with it because it got over wherever I worked.
He was awesome.
So I just well, that's true. Yeah, that was pretty bad. So I was doing what worked for me. I did one or two bigger moves, and that was it. Now we're kind of getting, not that we do a whole lot of big high spotty stuff, but we're getting a little more modern with it. Because he was trained the new school way. He's kind of, you know.
But I've also
we're a good foil to each other.
Yeah, gotcha.
And we also like the same style of wrestling. Like
Yep.
we study a lot of Brain Busters, Arn and Tully,
And Revival.
And actually, we just started watching a lot of Miracle Violence Connection with Terry Gordy and Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and like they, you know, that style has always been beneficial to us because, as we said, we're not high flyers by any sense.
We'll throw a flashy thing in here and there, but
We're not the Young Bucks. We're not able to do all these cool things from the top rope. I don't think Steve knows what it's like to be on the top rope.
I've been up to the middle.
I don't think he's ever gone to the top
No,
rope.
I've gone to the top rope like once or twice.
Yeah.
My wife was at the show. She's like, "You went to the tippy top rope? I can't believe it." I was like, "Yeah, I'm never doing that again because I don't want to hear this again."
And like we like, you know, the older style of wrestling. I think that like sticks out and makes us a little bit different from, you know, the newer teams and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel like nowadays, like, being old school is like the new thing to do. Like, I feel like the Revival embraces that and shows like,
they're
hey,
incredible.
you don't need to do flips and do all these crazy moves to be
Yeah.
a successful tag team. Like, you can be, especially when it comes to being a heel. I remember I heard this one time somebody was like, and it stuck with me. It was like, I'm a heel, so why do I want to do things to make the crowd pop?
Absolutely.
You know what I
That's
mean?
another
Absolutely
thing.
agree
That's
with
another
that.
thing. Like, so many people want to be heels, but they want to also be cheered.
They want to be the
Yeah.
cool heel.
Yeah.
The dreaded cool heel.
Yeah, and it's like, you can do that if your name's Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If your name's Scott Hall.
It worked for
Or
them,
you're,
but
you're
like
Joe Schmo on the Indies.
Yeah.
Like, pick a side.
worked for Raven a little bit too.
Fuck the Revival.
Although I'm sure he hated it.
Forever the Revival.
But no,
Yeah,
seriously,
it's got to
they're
be
great.
like a mixed bag. Like when I'm helping book shows and all that, I always try to make it like a mixed bag. You got to have your flyers, you got to have your old school guys, you got to have a little bit of everything. So I think that's why, like you said, the Revival's kind of like one of the top deals in the world right now. And they don't flip around, they don't do anything super. They're great athletes, but they don't do anything like super athletic, like the flips and stuff. That's what I mean by that. They're great athletes, but you know, it's got to be a mixed bag. You don't go to the circus and just want to see elephants. You want to see the elephants. You want to see the the skydivers. You want to see all the the guys with the bikes and the little. I haven't been to the circus since I was a kid, so I don't know. But I remember there's a bunch of different stuff. I don't think they even do the
Stuff like
circus
that.
anymore. But
That's actually where I found Steve. Was
yep. I'm a carny prick to my heart and soul, deep down.
He was a dancing bear.
Yeah.
You were also Silver Screen, right?
Yeah, I did that for a while because I love movies, but it was a character. It was like kind of like his game changer thing. It had a little more like definition to what it was.
Okay.
Because I did like indie films and like as the heel, like it kind of got to my head. Like, oh, I'm a movie star now. I did like 2 movies that nobody saw because they went right to DVD and nobody bought the DVDs.
So you were
Good
Dan
movies,
Mandini.
Yeah.
What?
So you're Dan Mandini.
Basically. Or like similar to like what the Miz is doing on TV now. Not that he stole it from me. I'm sure nobody saw what the fuck I was doing. But...
Actually, I called Miz the other day. He said you were his inspiration.
Oh, thanks, Miz. Appreciate that. Thanks, Bradley. Yeah, but I kind of went through what they call like the gimmick pinwheel.
Mm-hmm.
Like where he had the lack of a character, I had too many characters.
Okay.
Like I did the Hollywood Asylum thing or whatever, the Asylum thing, the Hollywood thing. The crazy person thing kind of worked a little bit. Like we're kind of doing like an offshoot of that now, almost a more realistic.
Sure.
But you got to find yourself. Try to find yourself as early as you can. Somebody told me if you're trying to get into wrestling, a little free advice. I think it was Simon Diamond told me, base it off of movie characters and your personality. Because wrestling characters, like you've seen the clown, you've seen all this other stuff, you've seen the beer drinking guy who beats up his boss. But if you watch movies and you see this character, for the Joker, for example, like, you know, that's a little overdone, but
Tommy Grayson's favorite Joker.
yeah, Tommy Grayson's favorite Joker. You take that and you kind of adapt it to wrestling. And,
So, I guess like,
Funny thing is about like stuff like that is that like the Joker as compared to Batman, everybody loves Batman, but the Joker is more realistic.
yeah.
Of how people really are than
Yeah.
Batman. Yeah,
I'm Batman.
So, who would you guys relate to now as a movie character? You know,
That's a good question.
I think
I imagine Steve is more like Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah.
that's not right.
Us behind the curtain and in front of the curtain. that's
I'm
different.
kind of like Borat.
Oh, man.
Behind the
Very
curtain, I would
nice.
relate us to Dumb and Dumber for sure. In front of it, maybe like Stu and Billy from the original Scream.
Okay.
Maybe because like, you know, I got a little more of a kind of a goofy edge to me sometimes, but I get more serious, and he's just straight up, you know, just a dick. So that was kind of the
I
original,
don't like
but
people.
You're like Jonah Hill.
That's why I have so many animals at my house, because I'd rather put up with 2 dogs and a skunk and my girlfriend who somehow tolerates my disdain of people.
We're both very lucky to have found women that have such horrible taste in men.
Yeah, I don't know why she sells it. Like, I wake up every morning, I'm like, hey babe, and she's like,
You're still here.
really?
Jeez. Well, if you guys ever felt like wrestling, you definitely got a comedy career.
I think an AMS
for
buddy
sure.
comedy is for the best for everyone.
Oh my goodness! And I'm gonna be waiting, and I'm gonna need 10% when his comedy comes out and the American Murder Society T-shirts come out with the penguin and the skunk on it.
Bro.
I need 10% of that.
Yeah, you got a fabulous movie.
Yeah, I want to
Imagine like a really dark AMS buddy cop movie.
Oh man!
I'm telling you, it's money.
Definitely.
Telling you it's
And
money.
we're saying very dark, not because it's dark, but because we couldn't afford lights.
Yeah, lighting's expensive.
Jesus.
It's so crazy because you guys have been in the ring with so many different tag teams from Hot Dog and Cheeseburger, you know, Tough Guy Inc., the Psycho Drivers.
Yep.
You know, you guys have a
Dreamer and
match.
Follow Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jersey Muscle Society, not the real society. We're the only society.
Yeah, there's only room for one of us here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else have you guys been in the ring with? You know, the Ice
Insanely
Crushers,
rude.
Ice
Yeah.
Crushers.
uh,
Insanely rude.
Filthy Family.
Mhm.
Have we done
Yes.
Yeah.
a triple threat tag?
3-way or 4-way, one of them.
You know, the Great Scots.
Great
Yep.
Scots.
Yep.
So many great tag teams. You know, we can keep listing them too.
They all have one thing in common. They've
Right.
lost to AMS.
Yeah, right. But here's the thing, like, you know, you guys are on a roll with these great tag teams. I mean, you just mentioned a couple. Who are the tag teams that are out there now that you feel like you could work with and have a great match with?
Like only on
Everyone.
the indies, or well, everyone definitely.
everyone.
Everyone?
Yeah, everyone.
Yeah.
Obviously, number one would be the
Anyone.
Revival,
I'm confident in our work that we
Yeah.
can go in there and have a good match with anyone.
as long as they listen.
Slow down, kid.
That's
Grab a hold, brother.
Grab a hold. Steve's blown up.
That probably is true. but-
He hasn't gotten in yet. I know.
Listen, if you don't blow yourself up on the apron, you're not doing your job.
Yeah, I got the fans invested, right? Even
Yeah,
when you're outside
yeah.
the ring. So yeah, it
You
happens.
gotta be invested in something.
I would definitely like to see you guys just for name value alone, American Murder Society versus Sent to Slaughter.
Oh
That-
yes,
that would be great.
that's like a
Matt
friggin'
Roth
wet
and
dream
Donovan.
match, bro. Like,
That would be.
You
sick.
have weird dreams.
yeah, you're right. I do have very weird dreams. We'll get into that some other time.
That's a story for a different.
Yeah, that is
podcast.
definitely. Yeah. No, but that's like one of the dream matches out there right now that we haven't had.
Yeah. That'd be a dope match. I
Yeah.
feel like Sean Donovan, he embraces that old school style too. Especially.
I had a really good match with Sean Donovan at the Warriors Unreleased tapings. That's honestly like he's such an old school guy. Like our styles mesh. Really
He's so
well.
underrated too.
Yeah.
Like, disgustingly underrated.
He's such a good, like, performer too, entertainer.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
like you really.
It's like, you know, like Dan Moff is a freaking legend and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But Sean Donovan also doesn't get his due, I don't think. Maybe now that they're teaming, he kind of
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
But honestly, singles or tag, Sean Donovan, as a heel especially, is beyond incredible. Like, I'll work with him any day of the week.
Ooh, you know what? On the same card as the Brandy versus Tom Brady versus Del Wilkes card. Can we have Mike Donovan versus Sean Donovan?
Oh, that match needs to happen for sure.
Donovan name on a pole match.
Bro, they go at it on Facebook like 2 times as hard as we used to, and I don't know if there's real heat or not.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Let's
but-
book it.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. They'd have a good match too because there's such different styles, but they'd work so well together.
So they're not related?
And they'd beat the crap out of each
Yeah,
other.
they totally are. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
No need to ask them
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
They spell their names differently, but one of them can't spell. We don't know which one. Probably Mike.
Oh,
Yeah. It's so funny because Sean Donovan was here too, right?
Oh, yeah.
And he is so passionate
Yeah,
about
he really is.
professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't think he has, like, he is just driven. From what we heard from him, like, he literally said it. He goes, "I eat shit and drink breakfast wrestling all day." Like, you know, like. That guy's just driven.
I was gonna say, I believe it. I hope he doesn't eat or shit his eat his shit for breakfast, even though it's all wrestling.
Well,
but
I mean, if you eat breakfast, it turns into shit. But if
that's a
you,
good point. Yeah.
I know recycling's big, but that's
Just
that's
when you
something
put it
else.
on, like he eats and drinks his shit. I don't think that's true. I don't think so.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
So what
yeah,
I've
yeah.
gotten
Wrong,
out of this
but-
interview is
He
that
definitely-
Sean Donovan eats his own shit.
I
because
don't think he does.
he loves wrestling. But no, he's definitely.
Nah, I love
well
Sean.
passionate.
If him and Moth aren't on TV in like another year or two, like I'll eat my own hat. I don't have one, but if I
I was
did,
gonna say
I'd eat
you're
the
not wearing
hat.
a hat.
Yeah. It was awesome seeing him.
Eat Sean's hat.
And I would not be surprised to see them like 10
Not
years
Sean's
down
hat.
the road working like behind
Okay,
the scenes.
I like
You
him
know?
as
Sure,
shit.
yeah, absolutely.
Have their run in front of the
Eat
camera, have her run
Andrew's
behind
hat.
the camera. I definitely could see that.
I looked at Andrew and went to say eat Andrew's hat. I said eat Sean's hat.
But yeah, would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Sean Donovan, Dan Moff definitely on TV in the next year or two, and whenever their run's over, 10, 15, 20 years down the road, could definitely see them working on the back end as well.
Yeah.
Because they're both so smart for the business.
Yeah, they're both incredible,
Mhm.
for sure. You know, it's crazy. You know, and then let's talk about this real quick.
Mhm.
The night that you turned, and you
You gotta narrow it down. I'm like Big Show with these turns, bro.
Trap Splash.
Oh, who's Traplash? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was the titles versus we had to split up if we lost, and it was our last shot. And
He was supposed to help you, right?
he accidentally super kicked me, quote unquote, and we
I don't
lost
think
the
it was an
match.
accident.
No, I don't think so either. That's what spurred everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was like 28, 29 at the time. I'm like, you know, at the time age kind of mattered. How many more shots am I going to get? So we got in a blood feud because I thought he kicked me on purpose.
Sure.
I
did.
watched
He
the
did.
footage back. I don't really know if he did or not.
He did.
But
Totally did.
he probably did.
You should fight him
Probably
next
did.
time you see him.
I will.
Because he definitely kicked you in the
We
face.
fist fight every time we see each other, yeah.
You know, is that something that you guys think about too? Because
It's like Peter and the chicken.
you know that team exploded pretty,
Yeah.
right? You ever think about this team? Could that ever happen to this team?
No, because
No.
I mean, I could see us doing singles runs, and that's one thing, but
Uh-huh.
I don't see this team exploding like that because we're an actual team, and Hooster's just somebody who I saw was talented, and I'm like, oh, we'd work well together. We weren't an actual team. We were never a unit. We were two good singles wrestlers who were kind of trying to tag up, and it worked for a little bit to a limited extent, but it exploded because of that.
Like we won't see like a barbershop window and someone
No,
going through there.
I could see us holding singles and tag team championships, but that, no, I don't think so.
We've literally like become family in the last year, I'd say. Like we literally talk every day.
Yeah.
I talk to Steve almost as much as I talk to my girlfriend, and I live and work with her. Like,
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
So it's literally
Shows how fucked up our lives are.
yeah. That shows you how amazing and how busy we are.
Yeah.
I've lowered myself to talking to Steve every day.
Oh man.
And about wrestling because we're nerds.
Nerd.
And nowadays, I feel like it's I feel like the tide is kind of tight where it's like, you know, where you would have been in a tag team that you would feel like you would have to be a singles wrestler to actually make it. But I feel like you can make it as a tag team, especially
Now, yeah.
like the Young Bucks have definitely proved
Yeah.
it like
you know
that.
what? I feel like that's what also gives us. Sorry to cut you off. I feel
No,
like
no, it's fine.
that gives us a leg up too. Is like not a lot of tag teams are as close as Steve and I are on the indies, and especially in this area. You know,
Maybe a handful.
yeah, there's probably a handful of teams that talk and train together as much as Steve and I do. Like when we're on the road, we hit the gym together. We know about each other's personal lives. What makes us tick and everything. Like, things that work for us and don't work for us and stuff like that inside and outside the ring. So like we've literally, as I said before, become a family. Inside and outside of the ring and I feel like the outside of the ring is more important.
Yeah.
Because
and it's very rare in the business.
Yeah. And
I've got maybe a handful of friends like you do in the wrestling business, and that's it.
Yeah. And I'm lucky to have found Steve because like.
And vice versa, brother. Hell yeah.
I don't like a lot of people. So
I can relate.
Driving 12 hours with somebody, I have to really be able to not want to murder them. Or as I say, welcome them to the American Murder Society.
I think I might have almost got welcomed to the American Murder Society by you and Stephen Higgins in London because I snore.
Oh my God.
See, normally I snore, but there was no air conditioning, so I was snoring bad because it was like humidified and all that.
And
it's just nasty.
It sounded like a chainsaw starting. Like I've never wanted to take a pillow and gently push until the kicking stopped. As bad as
I think
I did in those
next
5
time
days.
we hit the road, if there's no AC room, I'm gonna need my own room. If there's air conditioning, I'll be all right. I'm not like a chainsaw, but like without it, I could just sleep in the tub too. But you still hear that shit.
Like a drunk frat kid.
That's
Right?
you can't control that, you know what I mean?
No.
Sure he can. Just stop snoring.
I asked my wife, I'm like,
stay awake and check like I do, like a man.
You need a zipper or something, man.
I asked my wife, it was really that bad, and she's like, no, just when it's really hot. And I'm like, yeah, there's no AC in our room in London. Luckily, it wasn't summer then. We got by, but yeah, it was.
Oh man, see your wife
It's quite
she might
culture
be
shock.
used to it too. She might be like, I'm used to it by now.
Maybe.
It's all good.
Yeah, she
That's love,
sleeps
man.
with a running chainsaw when he's not around, just to feel like it, just to feel like he's around.
The only reason she don't sleep with one when I am around is because we have our toddler with us, so But if he wasn't there, she'd probably sleep with one with me around and murder me with it.
Oh my goodness.
For being real.
Yeah.
I can't blame her.
I hear you.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too. There's so many wrestlers who have iconic weapons. Hacksaw Jim Duggan has the 2x4. Mick Foley has Barbie. Abyss has his, right?
Janice.
Yeah. So, like...
AMS has Remy.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean, we have Remy. That's our secret weapon.
Like, you guys ever think about, like, branding that, as well? Like, like on the shirt or something like that, or
There will be Remy the Skunk merchandise in the near future. There will be.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool if we had Luke, my son, and Remy just standing over us with us like a pool of blood, like they just won the belts, holding the belts up. That could be a shared idea right there.
I thought you were going to ask us about legit weapons, and I was going to have to go into the process of hiding fingerprints.
Oh man.
I mean,
that's a chore.
I had a giant ass chain I carried around for a while, but like I realized he don't have a weapon besides a skunk, and it was really like I can't move that great to begin with because I'm old, but I really could not move with the chain. It was very, I just kind of walked out and had a chain on my neck. Now I can kind of move around a little bit now that I don't really use it anymore. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it'd be cool if we had like our trademark murder weapons, whether it be like a crowbar and like a mini chain or
like
whatever
a bag,
the case,
right?
or a bat. I mean, Sting kind of did the bat thing, but if it was like a wooden bat.
You can sell a bag of all this
Not
stuff
a black
too,
bag.
right?
This is. Yeah, we
You
could
can put it in a garbage bag and sell them.
just bring our luggage bags out on the wheels and just pop it open and just start popping weapons out into the ring.
Yeah, right?
That'd be kind of cool.
That'd be a cool gimmick to sell.
Hell yeah.
Now, I'll ask you, guys, like, where are some of the places you guys will wrestle that you haven't wrestled? Is there any?
What do you mean?
Is there anywhere out there that you guys?
Like a company.
Company
Like besides
that
the
you guys
obvious
would-
of like WWE All Elite.
Yeah. Is there
Impact,
anywhere
Ring of
out
Honor.
there that you guys want to go to?
CZW.
That'd be cool.
Wrestle Pro.
CZW, Wrestle Pro, Chikara would be cool. I mean, I know it's probably on the list of the obvious ones, but maybe not.
WXW in Germany.
That'd be cool.
Championship Wrestling from Hollywood.
Yeah,
over
yeah.
there in the West Coast.
Somewhere in Canada.
Anywhere's in Florida.
Anywhere in Florida. Yeah. ACW would be kind of cool down there because they got the affiliation with Evolve.
That's cool.
And Shine and all that. Evolve would be cool to go to too, but I think that's probably on the list of the obvious. But
I think that
either
NXT
way.
company has a bright future.
Yeah,
down
I
there.
think they're gonna do all right.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard. They're sort of like an
They're doing
upstart
okay,
company.
right?
Yeah, I think people watch it. I think people are starting to get into it.
I have a couple of good people like Keith Lee and Matt Riddle, right?
You know, and they're two brands that are on the biggest network in the world.
I'd say it's like Pro Wrestling Magic Light.
Kind of. No.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
No.
So
No, although if they want to pay us to develop stars, we'll develop even more of them. No, we can't take credit for that. But it is cool that a lot of people have stopped through on the way up.
Yeah, it's always nice to see guys that you've seen on their way up. Getting guys like Keith Lee who you meet and know you can
He's such
tell,
a good dude.
Like
He's
he's
such
a
a good
bona
guy.
fide star, and like he's a great guy to have in the locker room. Like anytime he stopped in at Pro Wrestling Magic, I was really happy to have him around because he would watch matches and give critiques, and he was just funny as hell.
Yeah, he's amazing. Him
And such a nerd too, and I say it the most complimenting way. He would sit with one of our ring crew guys and play Pokemon. He whipped the guy's ass every time, of course. But it's just such a good dude and such a talent. Obviously, I mean, if you've seen him work, you know.
Even if I was better at Pokemon at Keith Lee, I would still kind of fold.
You'd
in,
probably,
right?
because like he's a nice guy, but you don't want to test him with Pokemon, I'm sure.
It's amazing. Yeah, he is really a nice guy.
And Tommaso Ciampa was really cool
Yeah.
too. We only met him once, but he was surprisingly cool because like he's like this dark psychopath and this.
Sure.
Maybe he just liked us because we murder people. I don't know. But
He's a psycho killer.
No, we weren't
That's
murdering
right.
people yet.
hope he recovers soon because he was one of my favorites to watch singles wise when he was doing his thing in NXT. Him and Johnny Gargano holy crap.
Sure. This was my last question. We kind of talked about this before we went on air, but that Grim situation, right?
Oh,
that was a grim day in Seaside Heights.
Wow.
I was not going to bring it up.
The 2 hour,
We said we
the 2 year anniversary of that had happened, and to this day is the worst decision I've made, not just in wrestling but in my life. It was unprofessional. It was embarrassing. How I conducted myself, and how I carried myself into that situation was embarrassing, and I don't condone anyone do the same thing I did. I've luckily since then I've been able to reach out and apologize to Grim, and he's a better man than I'll ever be because he accepted my apology. Had that happened to me, I would be still asking for blood. So he's a much better man than I am. That incident really hindered my reputation from a lot of people. I'm thankful that people like Steve, who was actually the main event on that show with Sanchez.
Actually, had a really good match in front of 15 people. You cleared out the other 15 that were there, so
and like the biggest thing that bothered me was I messed up, and I'll be the first one to admit that I messed up. But they started going after my family and stuff like that, Grimm's fans and stuff like that.
Never Grimm. Never Grimm. His fans were such fucking assholes.
I can understand if they wanted to kill me and murder me, which I got probably close to 75 illegible death threats that I have now deciphered about half of them because they were so misspelled and so bad. It was great. I haven't had a death threat in about 2 years, which is upsetting, but we're working on it.
Oh, man.
But no, I really wish that I hadn't done it. I really wish that I had been more mature about the situation. Even if I did have a problem with them, I should have approached it differently. Maybe talked about it. Approached him in the locker room, and not have done what I did. It was really unprofessional of both Brandon and I. And luckily, we've been able to mend some fences and stuff like that. Yeah. But all joking aside, I really wish they had never happened. I'm very thankful that, for the people that stuck by my side through the shitty situation, and also the fact that Grim was able to find it in his heart to forgive me because he's a better man than I am.
Sure. And that's awesome that you came out a better person on the other side. And, you can see that it is flourishing for you. You can look at Pro Wrestling Magic, look at places like Synergy. Everywhere you go, you guys are taking titles. You got
to shout out D2W. We got their championship belts right now too.
Yes,
yeah,
we have one successful defense and one unlikely loss on the record this past weekend.
Yeah,
highway robbery.
Non-title
We were
loss.
robbed.
Yeah. Plus, at
UPWA.
UPWA, Craig, you.
Yeah, we got their championships. We got our eyes on them.
Yeah. Plus, you guys have been killing it at places like WoW for a long time, and best of luck to both of you guys. And
Wow, it's
crazy.
only a matter of time
Speaking
before we
of,
take your championships too.
Speaking of Warriors of Wrestling, I get to destroy something beautiful on August 23rd. The Kid,
Beautiful.
Vinny Pacifico. the everyone's happy-go-lucky neighborhood baby face. I was actually the first person that Vinny met in all of wrestling, like in all of like training and stuff. He stopped in at ECPW to train there for a little bit, and he cut a promo. I don't think it aired, but it made its way back to me. And he said something along the lines of he wants his friend back. He wants his friend Aaron back. He doesn't want. What he doesn't know is this is Aaron. This is me. This is who I am. I don't have to pretend to like anybody anymore. I don't have to shake anyone's hand. I don't have to go out there kissing babies and pretending to be something I'm not. And unfortunately, Vinny's just going to be a victim of circumstance on August 23rd. He's just getting in my way, in our way of what we want. And what
I won't
we
be there
want.
that day. I'll be in Disney World. But enjoy beating up Vinny and send me video.
He'll be in Disney World, because he loves his kid more than he loves me.
Yeah, that is true. And also Star Wars Land. I'll be at the Pass Holder preview, not fighting children in line because I don't have to. Like I thought I was going to have to.
Instead, I'll be
Yeah.
fighting a child in the ring.
Yeah.
The kid.
Don't count Vinny out. All right? It has to
Oh
be-
no! I'm not counting Vinny out.
No, you count him to the mat. 1, 2, 3.
I'm going to be pinning Vinny.
Sure. And you mentioned Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about?
You know
the
what?
last-
Maybe I will beat him by count out just for shits and giggles, just to impress myself.
Sean Donovan did that at Pro Wrestling Magic. He beat him by countout.
Yeah, it was fantastic. That was the last we ever heard of him. That little squirt, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Pro
hopefully it'll be
Wrestling
the
Magic.
last.
Oh,
Hopefully it'll be the
man,
last.
I
Probably
can't-
not though.
I cannot wait to hit him as hard as I can, right in the jaw.
Sure.
Management likes that little shit at Magic. I don't know why.
You have to be there, right, to see that match for sure. And,
Yep.
yeah. And yeah, you talking about Star Wars. What do you think about the last two?
I don't hate them.
Okay.
I like the originals better. The
Andrew.
originals are always going to be better.
Don't tell him it's fake.
Tell me.
He's right. Star Wars is predetermined. Episode 1 was awful. Episode 2 and 3 were alright.
Yeah.
4 through 6
Darth
were the
Maul.
greatest.
Darth Maul is the greatest villain.
Darth
of
Maul
all.
was cool. He was the only good part of part 1.
You a Jar Jar
I
fan?
agree with that.
No.
No?
No.
I love
I like
Jar-
all the Star Wars presents, and to answer your question about the last two, I assume you mean 7 and 8.
Yeah.
That 7 was pretty good. 8 was okay. I didn't think it was awful, like everyone says. I didn't think it was great. I think it was setting up for 9 to be great.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it's gonna be-
I can see that.
Because, like, 4 was really good, 5 was awesome, and 6 was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
That's what most people feel. It was 7, 8 went down a little bit, and I think 9's going to shoot up.
I'm
One of the
actually
best
going to
movies.
insert right here. I'm
Uh-huh.
actually very surprised that he knew 9 came after 8.
We've
We've been working on that for 3 weeks now.
Yeah. I can't count to 10, but I know that episode 9 comes after episode 8 with Star Wars. I don't know if it's the same when you're counting.
Did you,
I'm
like,
not sure.
All those letters are the same.
You're right. Damn, I was never good at algebra or geometry or geography or any of
I didn't
that.
like the algebra. Kept asking me to find its X.
Hey.
I don't even want to find my
If
X.
you like Star Wars,
I don't
watch-
have X's, I have Y's. Like, why the hell did I date you? They probably say the same about me, though.
Oh my
And they're
God.
right.
But-
I'm terrible.
If you like Walking Dead and Star Wars, I think you're doing okay in life. So I think,
Yeah, I
you know,
mean,
we
I've got
can-
good taste in my nerdisms, I guess.
So.
Oh man, this is bad.
Awesome guys,
Star
taking
Wars.
the time and coming out
Yeah,
here
we
to
definitely
talk to
appreciate
us.
you guys coming.
Thank
through
you guys for
sure,
having
man.
us. Thank you, guys.
And as far as if anybody wants to connect with you guys on social media, where can they find you guys?
The main place is Facebook.
We have a like page, the American Murder Society. We also have our personal pages, Aaron Bradley and Steve Hall. On Twitter, you can follow me at relentless_AB.
I'm at Steve Off on Twitter.
And then Instagram, I'm at relentless_A Bradley.
And I hate Steve Off on Instagram. Because there's someone that took the name Steve Off on Instagram and they never post on it.
He was a shit rapper.
He put like dude's got like a picture of like a dinosaur up, and I'm like, that's something I would post. Maybe I was drinking one night, I don't know, but yeah, I hate Steve Off on Instagram.
That sucks. I hate them too.
Yeah,
Me too.
it's a common thing. It's a common thing.
Just don't hate him too much. That's how you get stuck in a tag team with him.
Who's the jewelry guy?
Put 'em-
Steve, Steven.
Oh, Steven Singer.
Steven
Is that
Singer,
right? So
yeah.
it's kind of like.
Yeah, I did
Yeah.
it first. He stole it from me.
Stole our
He's
shit,
been, He's been
man.
watching my tapes, brother. You know.
Well, guys, thanks again for coming out.
Thank you guys
Thank you for having us.
Glad
A lot of
we were
fun.
able to finally put this together, and Steve, I'm glad you learned to keep kosher. So.
Amen.
Is Taco Bell kosher?
It
Steak is kosher, right? As long
I'm
as there's no
going
cheese
to
on it.
have
No,
some
no,
kosher
it's
Taco Bell.
No?
It is kosher with cheese.
Oh.
Select kosher, remember?
Select
got
kosher.
It, got it. Still learning. I'm still learning.
Yeah. So,
Andrew Pace, the select kosher.
yeah, right? So, guys, thanks again for taking out the time, and we will see you guys very soon.
See you soon.
Peace.